here today interviewing Jane for a channel. My name's Richie Vallance. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, anywhere. So drop us a like or subscribe. But we're here to talk about Jane today. We're here to talk about your cause, your crowdfunding page, and what makes you so passionate about it. And also wrap up a few things that people may or may not be concerned about. I know it's raised a few questions personally, and I hear a lot of things on the grapevine. There's a few people taking the piss out of you right now, which isn't very nice. But I think what you're doing is a good thing. So without further ado, we have Jane Sharp. Could you tell us more about your GoFundMe or crowdfunding page, whatever it's called?
I set up a crowdfunder, and the initial amount of money that I set up on it has been changed. I'd reduced it down to £300, but it was £650. The idea behind it is I find that there are people that are socially isolated due to mental health, physical health, emotional health issues such as agoraphobia and things like that, or they don't have time to do their own activities due to work and other commitments. So
like yourself?
Yeah, such as myself. So the idea behind setting up the crowdfunder is I go out into the community, which does require a small amount of financial aid to be able to do due to my circumstances.
Right.
I'm on universal credit, which isn't enough to live on, unfortunately. So my idea is to get myself out and motivated, and to help motivate other people within the community to put back into the community, because you get out what you put in. So the idea is, if you say would like to go out for a night out, you've got children, you've not been out for months and things like that, even though I'm not a registered childminder, so I couldn't do an overnight or anything like that, I could give somebody the opportunity for a donation of however much they feel, and give them the opportunity to go out, enjoy themselves, have a meal, have a couple of drinks, and then come back. Or say if you aren't able to mow your own lawns or trim your own hedges, or you can't really do your own cleaning and things like that so much in your own home, I could come in and enable you to be able to have a much tidier garden and home. I know that I would have appreciated it when I was in a very low state of mind emotionally and mentally, if someone came in and helped me to be able to do those things, and it gave me the motivation to carry on, because it is a difficult thing. People don't necessarily understand mental health issues, so this is what it's all about. I know there's been some misunderstanding from people in regards to it, but that is what it's about. It's about putting back in what I get out from my community.
Right, so you said quite a lot there, Jane, and there's a lot to answer for there. So going back, when I ask you a question, if you don't mind looking at the camera and answering as well, because it's nice for you to look at me, but sometimes people like you to look at them as well.
Apologies.
So, no, it's your video, you do what you want, and you answer how you feel is necessary. All I'm saying is you're just coming across a little bit like in your shell a bit there, and I want you to be a bit more confident, because I think what you do is a wonderful thing. Having said that, a lot of people think you're being dodgy at the moment, and that they might think that, you know, you've done things in the past that, you know, that might not be the way they perceive. Classic example, recently you set up, you know, a body shop business. Right, what was your reasons behind that? Why did you start the body shop in the first place?
Unfortunately, one of the side effects of having mental health issues and stuff is that it can be incredibly difficult to find work. I have signed up to go into employment. However, due to a waiting list, I decided to sign up to do the body shop. This is a very stressful thing for somebody with mental health issues to deal with. I wanted to see whether or not I could cope with doing a self-employment business. I didn't necessarily do all that well with it because of how my mind was working with it at the time. I made some mistakes, which I apologise for.
What mistakes were those?
The handling of things in regards to money, I didn't do very well with that side of
Do
things.
you have a problem with money, Jane?
I do have a problem with money. I'm not very good when it comes to money and the mathematics side of things.
Struggle with budgeting?
I do. I struggle a lot with the budgeting.
Right, you're asking for £300, which to me is not a lot of money. I could afford to give you £300 now. If I was to give you £300 right now, what would you do with it?
I would use that to enable people to be able to get out who would like to get out.
Would you have like a table where you have like running costs? Because it's not a charity you're doing, is it?
No, it's
You're
not a
offering
charity.
something in return. You are asking for people to be generous and give money out of their own pocket, which some people might perceive as being cheeky. I don't. I think it's quite an innovative, good idea, and I'm for all good ideas, me. And I'd like to see how this pans out. I don't listen to what people are saying in the background, like hating on you and saying, "Oh, here she is again. Now she's expecting GoFundMe, crowdfunding, whatever you want to call it." There's many different ways in which people can fund other people. I've seen a lot less worthy cause than yours. £300 isn't a lot. It's certainly not fraudulent. You know, at the end of the day, you are entitled to ask people help. Now, why haven't you received the help already, Jane? Why isn't anybody helping you? Have you got a CPN or a nurse or a psychiatrist?
At this current moment in time, all I have is my medication, which is sertraline, and I recently started with a place called Open Minds to do counselling. I've been in and out of services to do with counselling before. I've been with IAPS and stuff like that, but in the long term, these things don't actually help.
What did IAPS say to you?
I got referred to counselling, and it wasn't helping at all. At one point back in the day, I saw a psychiatrist who said that if I get too highly stressed, I'll start hallucinating and hearing voices and stuff, which is a stress-related condition that people don't realise that I have.
Do you think when you put yourself in these situations, and you do test yourself sometimes, I've seen that, and you have admitted in this video, the last 3 minutes ago, that you wanted to see how you would cope with the body shop businesses, you wasn't getting any benefits sorted out, you weren't getting anywhere fast with the benefits agency. Do you think you might give up on things a bit too easy, would you say?
Probably when I find things stressful because of the things that I was told.
Put it another way, do you think that you give up a lot sooner than most people would because your illness, your neurosis in your mental health, because that's what it is. You have a neurotic problem where you find yourself in these situations where things get too stressful for you, they get on top. And quite rightly so, everybody, it's called life. And everybody deals with life differently. And if you can't cope, do you think it's easy for you to avoid a problem, avoiding, than it is to confront it face on?
I'm not very good at confronting things head on at all. I would rather go back into my shell.
I know that you've denied yourself in the past the right access to benefits not because of any other reason than not having enough credible evidence. Now, most people would say at that conjecture, give it time, then go out and get the evidence, then try again. And I'm not advised you, but what I do with myself is I tell people what I would do in that situation. Now, what I've said to you is you need to go back to your doctors and you need to tell them about these suicidal thoughts that you've been getting, and you need to tell them about the isolation, and you need to tell them about all the other things that have been going off in your life and everything that's been tried and tested, and even have a diary and write down days. And I don't think you have a good day. I think a day in the life of Jane is, and I'm not putting words in your mouth, but I think that you need some kind of, not personal assistance, but maybe a mentor, of some kind that can just watch over you and say, I'll take the reins while you relax from this. Instead of giving up completely, I think you would have done well with a body shop if you would have had the right amount of support. But I think because there's too many people there wanting you to fail, you give in the end and you prove them all right. Now there's lots of people out there at the moment laughing at you, laughing about it. They think it's ridiculous how someone can just come out of nowhere and say, fund my lifestyle, fund me through GoFundMe. But that's not what you're doing, is it?
No.
You're not asking them to fund your lifestyle, you're asking them, help me in order to help you. And I think that's a very modest thing to say, and it's quite credible. And I think it's a brilliant idea, I really do. I think that, you know, when a good idea comes along, it's like, you know, to me it's like a breath of fresh air. Now, I understand what you're trying to do completely. And the fact that you've lowered it to £300 says it all. I think you're quite willing to offer these services for free. I think you're quite willing to accept someone to come and say to you, come in my house, Jane, I'll be your friend, I'll give you a cup of tea, I'll give you a meal, I'll help you out today. What promise you having today? You want a bit of bus fare? You need to get into town, you need to go somewhere, you want to go to somewhere perhaps like a meeting, or you want to go to a group session, or there's an event in town that you want to go to, and what's stopping you? A few quid? A few measly quid? And what does that do for the rest of the day? It puts you in a different mood, it puts you in a different mindset, puts the weight of the world on you, and you're not feeling suicidal. And it's a vicious circle. I see this every single day, Jane, and you need to break the cycle. You really need to, and you're trying to break it. You're actively trying to break it now, and people are still taking the piss. Why are they taking the piss out of someone who can't get the right benefits, for a start? What, because they're all on top like DLA and they can go to all these fancy places? I've seen your face when people have said to you, oh, you got no money to come out with us, Jane, and all your friends, your so-called friends, are going out there having fun, and you're stuck on your Todd. That's not what friends do.
There was a trip recently to Blackpool that I would have loved to have gone on. Unfortunately, I didn't have the money in the end. £20. I didn't have £20. People don't realise that in a few days' time, I am going to be going down to London with just the money that I have for my benefit.
No spending money.
No spending money. Right? Basically, I've only been able to afford to get my ticket to get there. I haven't been able to afford to get my ticket to get back, to get across London, or to be able to eat or anything like that. So I'm going to be on my own, travelling across London as somebody with the issues that I have. Right, I'm very good. I've learned over a long period of time to be able to put a mask on. People think I'm fine and they don't realise when I'm sat at home.
I was about to say, you do come across like, you know, not malingering or fraudulent, but you might come across as what issues? Now, to an outsider, they might be looking at this and say, there's nothing wrong with you, Jane. They might turn around and say, London, tough titty.
This is the biggest issue with high functioning mental health issues. I am classed as high functioning mental health because I've been able to go to college and get qualifications
that diagnosis? What's that? Higher functioning? Is that autism or Asperger's?
They've never actually, what they did to me when I was 15 years old is say that I was reading at the age of a 10-year-old. I was an incredibly shy person, which people don't get
historical evidence, so you need fresh evidence, don't you?
Yeah, I have no fresh evidence at all as to what all they ever say to me is you have a mild learning difficulty. They don't say doctors. When I was at my original doctors and I went in for a completely different reason, they said, "Oh, it's on your medical notes that you've got."
So you said original doctors. So
yes,
when you say original, how many doctors have you had in the last 10 years?
I was originally with one in town, and now I'm with one that's
2 doctors.
Yeah.
I will say to you right now, change doctor. Right now, change doctor.
They can't even see what's wrong with my knee at this doctor.
They don't care, Jim.
I've had 3
As soon as I change my doctor, there will no more complacency. I changed my doctor from King's Road to St Vincent's, which was only a couple of doors down, which I'm entitled to do, and I went to see a doctor called Dr. Alistair Graves, who's dead now, God bless his soul, and I sat there and I poured my heart out to him, and he listened. He listened to me until I said everything I needed to say, and I was there at least an hour. He wasn't there looking at his watch every 2 minutes. Lovely Scottish bloke he was. And from that day on, things changed for me.
I'll be honest, right? I'm going to put this out there on this video. I went to see a doctor at my new doctor's with a letter from a nice lady called Jane on Facebook.
So you had a supporting letter?
Yeah, that listed everything that I needed to talk about and everything that was wrong and what help I needed. He read the letter, he listened to everything that I said, and then his response to me was, "So what do you want me to do?" And I was just sitting there thinking, it says in the letter what I want you to do, and I've just sat here and told you what I want you to do, and you've just said, "So what do you want me to do?" You obviously weren't listening to anything, and to have people tell you that you've got a mild learning difficulty but not assess you at all to say what that is, and you go through life with people thinking nothing's wrong, that is disgusting to me. I don't want to be on medication and in counselling on and off all my life. I want the proper help that I'm entitled to.
Well, you need to stick up for yourself and ask. And you need to be stronger. I'm sorry, but you do. You've got to stop giving up. You need someone who knows what they're talking about, an advocate like me, who can do it all for you. And just say to them what's what, and then you do what you need to do on your side. We're living in a society now where you don't have to prove that your illness is your illness anymore, because they're more interested in what you're capable of doing. Now, would you say that you can cook a meal for yourself?
I can do convenience food.
Can you sit down there and cook a meal, like a nutritious meal, and be consciously aware about all the nutrients that are in it, what you're having, and a balanced meal as opposed to something that you would just get out of a microwave or a convenience shop?
I generally tend to avoid cooking where it's all possible.
Do you find that you might have a few mishaps when you at least try and cook?
Yes.
Have you had any mishaps in the past?
Yes. I've even poured boiling hot water over my hand in the past when I was trying. Yeah.
So, you know, you're not good with hot water for a start.
No.
Kettles, saucepans boiling over, that kind of stuff. And yet you're expected to cook for yourself. I find in today's society, you know, a lot of people that they do find it hard substantiating their claims. And I think that the knock-on effect to this is out of sheer desperation, you've now gone and you're trying something yet new. Now, it's a wonderful thing that you're trying this thing that's new, but at the same time, I think you're putting added pressure on yourself where you need to go back to the drawing board and say to yourself, instead of trying something new, try something perhaps a different way, or try something completely different. Instead of trying something new, try something that you've tried before, but in a different way. Now, you're refusing to put in PIP at the moment, aren't you? You don't want to do that, do you?
I've tried twice to get it, and because
Twice?
yes,
Is that all?
I was refused twice, and
Since PIP?
I gave
Let's talk
up.
about DLA. When DLA came as well. Let's
I
DLA as PIP, the same thing.
Yeah.
How many times did you apply?
I had DLA, I lost DLA, I applied to PIP twice and was refused.
Did you lose?
Sorry about that, hopefully it recorded some of it. Let me just so we can actually see us both again. Right, so as I was saying, I was refused PIP twice. And at this point I found that I didn't want to cause myself the hallucinations and near paranoia and near nightmares and things.
Again, it's putting you under too much pressure. So you get to this stage, this congestion where you get the better of yourself and you're your own worst enemy by the looks of things. So what's stopping you from getting on well now and quitting on this crowdfunding or whatever it is that you're trying out?
This is something that I have mentioned in a live stream that I did last night, and well, a couple of live streams. People don't seem to realise that I have suicidal thoughts and thoughts of self-harm, and within the time period that I was quitting doing body shop and quitting other things, I got to a point of wanting to self-harm by stabbing a knife through my arm. I didn't do it, but I have actually attempted suicide before. I took some antidepressants from alcohol, which is why I won't have alcohol and antidepressants in the flat at the same time.
I know you're being honest when you say that, and I do believe you, but I mean, in all fair honesty, we would be doing this without a child present, so. But having said that, because you're talking about things in that kind of way, I don't think it's really appropriate for you to go into great detail about your personal thoughts and feelings in regards to self-harm and suicide. By fair means, touch upon it.
Yeah.
But having said that, you know, I mean, needs are must. I mean, we will get a chance to interview you again after this video. I'm not telling you off, I'm just suggesting to you that you were going a bit dark there, Jane, and you're worrying me a bit now. Because I don't want you going away from here and thinking about slashing your wrists again. And you already know how to do it properly, don't you? You know
I know
that's
how
not
to
the right
do
way
it
to
properly,
do it.
yeah.
And that to me is very, very dark.
Blame 13 Reasons Why.
You've not got any plans or anything to do it, have you?
I currently don't have any plans to do anything like that.
You never set out and wrote a suicide note and...
Nope.
This is the problem, they're not taking you seriously enough.
I wouldn't write a suicide note though.
Why?
Because I'd just do it.
You wouldn't do it?
I would just do it. There wouldn't be any note.
You mean you wouldn't just suddenly decide to commit suicide, is that what you're saying?
It wouldn't be planned out, it'd be
immediate effect.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I don't plan it out. I didn't plan it out when it happened before.
You just did it off the
back
of... Right, I see. So to me that tells me that you're at high risk. You are at high risk and they're still not listening to you. And we know what the suicide services are like in town. I myself was asked to go to the Samaritans. And they made me feel even more suicidal after I rang them up.
I can't go there, my ex works there.
And I know in the past when I felt like that, the best thing for me is just to go for a little walk. But I myself, I'll be honest with you, I haven't got the guts to do it. I would never go out and do it. I've got too much to lose. And not only that, I haven't got the bottle to do it. I'm actually scared of death. And I'm scared of being buried. And I'm scared of not being able to leave my mark behind, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing now, because I want to leave traces of me behind. I want people to type my name in a search engine in 100 years' time and see what I was trying to do, and maybe realise that I was trying to do the right thing after all. I think it just went down the wrong hole there. It's all right.
Yeah.
So
don't worry, we're not killing any children.
So let's go back to these on and off days that you have, and let's see if we can allow the public not to judge but understand that you're not asking for a lot. I mean, £20 for a day out, plus expenses like spending money, fish and chips or whatever at the seaside, like everybody else. I think we're all entitled to that at least once a year.
Yeah.
So you want a day break, okay? So that comes out to £300. What, £50 for the day?
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like it would just be me going by myself. I'd be able to help the people who want to go. That's the whole point.
So you'd be taking other people along with you?
Yeah, like we'd make a day of it. Like, do you need to get out? Or do you need that support and community spirit?
We all know that isolation is the biggest cause of mental health. When people begin to isolate themselves, that's when they become more at risk of the ideation that you possess. Now, it's easy saying that, but there's a lot of people that fight this battle every single day. Anxiety, depression, and they get by it okay. They've got insight and they learn different techniques and behaviours and coping strategies. What I think is you just not have the right guidance to show you that there are ways in which to cope with this and deal with it in an appropriate manner, rather than reverting back to the old suicidal Jane on the night time, and then in the daytime, fuck it and throw everything up in the air. I think you need to break that cycle. I think I think you're going about it the right way by talking about it at least.
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be people out there that are going to relate to this, because there's people out there that don't even leave the house for said reasons, because they're frightened of what other people are saying and doing, and people staring and looking. I used to be agoraphobic. I still am semi-agoraphobic, but sometimes I have to force myself to go out there and do what I need to do, because I've got a family to maintain.
I do generally tend to jump back and forth between not wanting to go out and then getting cabin fever of wanting to go out.
I think if you had a focus, like perhaps even a pet, or someone that was reliable on you, that you had no option but to, you know, focus on this one thing, as opposed to drawing all your attention to yourself and then feeling negative about it all later, because you're really not asking for a lot of money. I mean, you suddenly changed it from $650 to $300 for some reason. I didn't even think $350 was a lot, or $650 was a lot.
I changed it with advice from people that said that it was confusing them.
I wouldn't have changed it, but that's up to you, and if you want to accept their advice. I wouldn't say that was sound advice. I say to those people, they don't understand what you're trying to do. All they see is you set up a page asking for money in order to improve your life. Yeah. But what you're actually trying to do is improve other people's life and give back to the community. But I think you're going about it in a bit unorthodox way, and it's controversial, and I love controversy, and I want to see where this leads to. But for your own sake, I don't want you putting yourself out there on a pedestal for people to take the piss out of, because there's no worse than cyberbullies, because there's those people that say and do, and you're a doer, Jane. You're doing things, you're trying to do things, you have good ideas.
I do have other things that I'm doing as well. People don't realise I'm a crafter. I'm doing crochet, I've got cross stitch, I've got things that help me.
It's alright doing that, but when you want to open up a stall, for instance, on a gala, you've got no money to do that.
It's difficult to do that now. Like, I could make so many blankets that I don't need furniture, but I wouldn't be able to sell them because I need that financial backing to do it.
What about little bonnet hats for, you know, like the little newborns at the hospital? Because at the moment they only give them little white socks to put over their heads, and sometimes it can be a bit misshapen and what have you. Do you think that's a good thing to do?
I would love to do that. I initially got taught by somebody, but I am actually currently just teaching myself how to do new shapes and things and new styles of things. So I will be making...
They're not stretchy though, are they, when you crochet either, is it? It's not stretchy.
It's not, but I can get, like, elastic.
Okay, because a lot of people do the knitting, they do it with knitting.
I can't knit.
Knitting's slightly different.
I went from knitting to crochet.
No, definitely not, no. You prefer crocheting, which is fine.
One hook that doesn't stab you, needles stab you. I don't like needles.
So you get thoughts from the needle itself, using the needles themselves.
I don't like sharp objects.
So to emphasise on the fact that you're not a charity, you're not asking directly for money, you're asking for a small donation in lieu of a favour, but you are willing to help people without the necessity of donating any money at all.
Yeah. I'm not forcing anyone to donate. If they want to donate the money, they can do. I'm not forcing people to do so. It's about putting back into the community.
What I'm saying, Jane, is if you want to do this off the goodness of your heart,
yeah,
there are other ways you can do it. For instance, if you're walking down the street and you see an old lady and she's in need of crossing the road, and she's a bit frightened because the traffic's heavy, you're the kind of person that's a good person at heart, and you're a Samaritan, and you will go up to that person and say, do you need any help crossing the street? Would you like help with your bags?
Yeah.
And you would help that person, wouldn't you? Because that's what a normal, decent human being does, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lady...
You wouldn't just suddenly turn around and say, oh, there's a £5, please. Well, she got a purse out and insisted on giving you money just for that. She wasn't expecting any help whatsoever from anybody. She'd been there all day waiting.
if people want to like do that, say if I've done someone shopping for them and they give me a couple of quid, right? I would be grateful. They would be grateful. Like I'm just grateful for the motivation to get out there and do it.
So the reason why you've set yourself a target, monetary-wise, on the crowdfunding page, is simply because you see that as a target. You don't see that as an end goal. You're not trying to raise that amount in full.
No, I am not, right? I want to clarify something important, right? Any money that's donated to me, I'm not just going to be disappearing off on a holiday with that money or anything. That money is going back into helping people in the community to get a better quality of life. And that does sometimes, all these groups and stuff that require funding, so do I. I can't go in and improve somebody's quality of life and improve my own quality of life by proxy of that if there isn't any money at all. You can't do everything for free.
Yeah, but you're not saying to people, why do it for free if you can charge? You're not saying that.
Nope.
What you're saying is I would like a pot of money to work with.
Yeah.
It's like you're approaching any other organisation and getting a grant. That's basically what you're asking for, a grant.
It's a little bit like having a funding bid.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But what I'm trying to also say is, you know that money's there. You know how these pages work. They take a percentage for themselves.
Yeah.
Usually around about 5%, which most charities do anyway. But you've got to wait for that money to accumulate and reach its target before you can access it. If you reach what, and you didn't have an end date, and you reached £15, and it never got to £650 or £300 or whatever it is, you do realise you won't be able to ever access that money.
But that money wouldn't get touched until it needed to be touched to help people get out. What
I'm saying, Jane, is you've set yourself a target.
Yeah.
Have you set yourself an end date?
I did it for a year, but it can be adjusted.
So that means that you won't be able to touch any of that money in that account for a year. You know that, don't you?
The way that it's set up is it's saying that I can take some of the money out within a certain amount of days. I don't know how it's working, but it says something about 10 days or something. But
There's
I don't
a lot
think
of people out there, yeah. You have a sudden disaster, say Manchester for instance, and they'll just quickly set up a GoFundMe page, donate to the Manchester appeal, and then all of a sudden they disappear. These people are sick and unscrupulous. They often do it under a fake name. They often do it under false pretences. Now, I've noticed you've actually put some money in there out of your own pocket because it says donated by Jane Sharp. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, because I don't see why I should be asking other people for money and then not be willing to put out of my own pocket as well, right? Everybody, we're all...
Still recording?
I hope so.
It's always best to check these things, Jane.
Yep. For 4 minutes.
Good. So we're still on track.
Yeah.
So, to reiterate and clarify, you're not a charity. You're not a hopeless case. You're willing to do something for nothing, and you're willing to help others without a suggested donation. Because it's not like you're asking for a specific amount. You've just got a target there. You've got a pot of money that you'd like to use, not just to improve your life, but to improve other people's lives. But what you're really relying on is people to come out of the woodwork, out of nowhere, who are debilitated like yourself, who are at least hopefully understanding, who maybe perhaps want to improve the quality of their own life. How do you target these people? What do you propose to do in order to facilitate this idea that you have? Because it's quite controversial, don't you think?
There will be ways of promoting it. I'm going to use my social media to promote it. I will try to get some leaflets put together that explains what the point of it is. I'm willing to do that promotion, and it will come out of my own.
You know that there are organisations that don't agree with what you do sometimes, don't we?
Yes.
Like, for instance, and you've got to respect that they're protecting their members.
Yes.
You know, they're not targeting you. They're not saying to you, you can't come here anymore, or they're saying that you can't conduct business.
Not yet. They're not saying I can't go yet.
They have done in the past, though, haven't they?
I have voluntarily stopped going in the past because I felt like it was better when I'm not good with controversy.
Haven't you been confronted by people that have said that you have tried to manipulate them in some way? Vulnerable people, that is.
Yeah, I think so, because they forget that I'm a vulnerable person too. And,
Bit silly that, isn't it? Accusing someone vulnerable of targeting someone else that's vulnerable. And I've had it myself with places such as Dice, where all the members are over 18, yet apparently I'm supposed to be a risk to vulnerable young women, which is obviously codswallop. But because it's been stated by people doing background checks and stuff like that. Anyway, this isn't about me. I've already explained this in my previous post. But what I'm trying to tell you is give you an example that perhaps you're not very business orientated, you're not good with money, you've already admitted that.
I'm rubbish.
You're going to end up with a large sum of money,
Yeah.
and you're not going to know what you're going to do with it, because either you're going to end up giving up, or you're going to end up listening to what other people are saying and the advice that they're giving. This is your baby. Why should you allow them to interfere in any way? Why should you be bothered about what people are saying? Why should you get yourself all upset? You don't consider yourself a member of that place anymore.
I'm still classed as a member. I'm just not. It's the same as with my religion. I'm not active.
That sounds a bit strange to me, Jay, because you did kind of like ask for yourself to be taken off the books.
Yeah, I asked for that not to happen, but I don't. I
don't think that would ever happen, because the group that we're talking about,
I don't want to be like.
It doesn't do that to people.
No.
You come when you go, and you come as you go, as you feel.
Yeah.
But you've got to understand, collectively as a whole, the group is what it is.
I take myself out of the situation. Nobody makes me leave. I take myself out.
You can't say and besmirch a group on the grounds of certain individuals that are spoiling it. They can laugh at you till they're blue in the face, but what are they doing? What have they done?
There are times where I've not been to the police, so I can't say in those periods of time what they've been doing. I only know what I want to do.
The bottom line is, like Mind and many other organisations like that, is you're going to get...
I've got it on.
Go get out of the picture, you. Keep her over there.
Hopefully this is working again now. I do apologise. Apparently it only films in 18-minute bundles.
18 minutes?
Apparently.
Out of all that?
I don't know. I think it's probably done 2 times 18 minutes.
It probably has, Jane.
But getting it to actually do it, this is why I need
I think we need to set up a GoFundMe page and ask for some better equipment, don't you?
I think I need help.
And really hit it to the public and get what we really can out of them.
I think I just need help with being able to set things up properly.
There is a way that you could easily fraudulently dupe the public. But you're not like that, are you, Jane?
I don't want to defraud anyone.
If you wanted to defraud someone, I'm pretty sure it would be easy to do that. You wouldn't go so far as to say going out of your way and going around all the houses just to pull a bit of money together. Put it that way.
No.
There's plenty of people that you know are vulnerable that you could probably say to them, "Oh, I'll do your shopping for you," and slip a tenner to one side, or I'll get you a Vodafone and buy yourself a packet of fags or whatever. There's plenty of people out there that do that and shortchange people and take the money away from them. And I don't see you doing any of those things.
Oh, I do have people that think that I would do that. But I'm not in the habit, like, I have had to have some financial aid from family, but...
It's not the same, Jane. What I'm trying to say to you is there are some unscrupulous people out there that would actively go out of their own way just to defraud other people who we would perceive as being vulnerable. people that are isolated, that you know, they'll knock on the door with fake ID, and they'll sneak in the house, and they call it confidence tricksters, and one will be downstairs while the other one's upstairs going through all the jewellery and all the pockets, or they might nick the car keys or whatever.
I could never do that to somebody. I'd feel far too guilty.
Person. And I know for a fact that this crowdfunding page is a last-ditch effort, an attempt to improve your quality of life.
Yeah.
You tried the PIP route, you tried the DLA route, you're almost ready to give up. But I think that you should hit rock bottom. I think that you should stand on a bridge, and maybe then they would take you seriously.
Well, they don't take me seriously at the minute, do they? So
well, what's it going to take, Jane? To be sectioned? What is it going to take for you to be put on the right benefits? Because right now it's not working, is it?
Nope.
Right now you're having to set up. I mean, body shop. It's never meant to be a full-time job.
Yeah.
It's meant to be a part-time thing where you're selling amongst family and friends, and you can't even do that, can you? And it's not because you can't do it. It's because other people are there in the background spoiling it for you.
I think people don't seem to realise a very important thing when it comes to doing something like the body shop, that I'd never have done it if I didn't think.
What is wrong with you wanting to become a success? What is wrong with you wanting to come off benefits and earn your own living and make your own way in life? There are cleaning jobs out there. You told me yourself you've got qualifications, you know, that prove that you're able to handle chemicals and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
You tell me that you've done certain confidence building courses, although they don't always work because your confidence does sometimes get the better of you. But I think overall, I think what you need to do is latch onto a group of people that are in a similar situation to yourself, and all of yous help each other like they're supposed to do, but they're not.
Right, there's three things. Firstly, I am a qualified peer mentor, which I went to Northern College and did. Secondly, I have my GCSE English, which I got a 6 on a distinction for, which is not something that's easy. I spent 9 months of stress trying to get that, and was terrified I was going to fail the exam, and I passed, and I even got a distinction for it. I have a cleaning qualification, so I have a qualification that proves that I know the different chemicals and the different things like that. So I'm not one of the...
You realise that, don't you?
I realise that.
And it's not because right now you're not able to work, because you do have them days where you're motivated. But I think if you put exceptional pressure on yourself, it's just going to put you back to the old revert, Jane, where you sat alone in your flat, feeling sorry for yourself. And you need to break that cycle. And the only way you can do that is by getting out more and interacting with people more. And you can't do that until you've got money. So it's a catch-22 situation, isn't it? And I think you can't really rely on people's generosity. You need to get your benefits sorted.
The issue that I've got, what people don't seem to realise, is when I was 6 years old, I was hit by a car. Now as a 38-year-old woman, I have an issue with my knee. I can't walk for 45 minutes on a daily basis into town and then 45 minutes back because my knee is damaged. I've had 3 x-rays on it. They've said they can find nothing wrong other than the cartilage scraping on the bone. And this is ridiculous. These are the kind of things I should actually be getting the correct benefits for. Not just my mental health and emotional health, but physical health. It's very draining by the end of the day. Physically, emotionally, mentally, to go through that.
Do you find that there's an outset? Because when I struggled to get my DLA, and I'm talking a long time ago, it took me 10 years in the end, and about 10 attempts as well. But in the end I got there, and I felt there was a start differentiation between those that got DLA and those that didn't. And I think that, you know, you get treated a little bit differently when you got no money. Do you think that's the case for you as well? Do you think people kind of like look down on you a bit because you've got no money?
I think when
and you're not able to pay your way.
I think when it comes to being able to get access to any kind of money, there's discrimination. I know of several different pots of money that should have been available for people of all different issues, not just physical ones. There was one that I think we touched on briefly in your interview, which was called a personalisation budget or a direct payment. People with mental health issues were being illegally blocked from being allowed to get those. To this day, I still don't have a personalisation budget, and those things, that money would have helped me to be able to do the very thing that I've set up my crowdfunding to be able to do, to get myself out, to get other people out. That's what a personalisation budget
when I
was.
first put in for a personal budget, there was a question on there that I took particular issue with. The question was, do you feel that you need any help around your parenting? And if so, do you feel like you're able to parent your own children? Baby. Now, at the time, I was going through childcare proceedings, which I've explained in the other video, about the forced adoption. Oopsie daisy! About the forced adoption. And the fact is, I took particular issue with it because, on one hand, the council was saying that I wasn't well enough to look after my children. And on the other hand, the mental health authorities were saying that I was perfectly fine and dandy, and I wasn't even entitled to the lowest level of care, yet alone a personal budget. Because back then, it was called the Fair Access to Care Services. And what you would need to do was, in order to prove your eligibility for a personal budget, you would have needed to prove your eligibility for personal care to begin with, and you would have had to be an intermediary or higher. And that was at the time when the RDAS were doing the budgets themselves. Now they passed it back to the council. The council are fully in control now, and it took me 2 years for them to come out and assess my needs. And now they've come out and assessed my needs, and then used that in order to prove my eligibility for PIP, which I got.
Am I allowed to explain something?
Let me finish. Yeah. Which I then got, and then I was able to then get a personal budget, which unfortunately I may have abused. But having said that, you know, the fact is, the money's there set aside, and if it's for you, it's for whatever you seem fit. Now, what you're saying to everybody is, I just need 300 quid to improve the quality of my life. Yeah, it costs the services probably about £500,000 a head. I mean, imagine all the psychiatric appointments. Imagine how much they get paid. Imagine all the mental health workers, all them getting paid. They're all getting their bread and butter. Why are you getting a slice of the pie, Jay? Why wouldn't it be cheaper to give you a personal budget? Because obviously prevention is cheaper than the cure, and a personal budget would then enable you to go out on a daily basis or whenever you felt like it, and you'll be able to get a bus pass, you will be able to get all the things that you need. And unfortunately at this moment in time, I don't think they're seeing you as well enough. I really don't, because if they did, you'd get a personal budget.
It's the downside of becoming very good at putting a mask on and having people thinking that you're fine, that people do, like, when you tell people that you're not, they don't believe you.
Because it's easier to tell them that it's fine, isn't it, than it is to go into great massive detail about why you're not fine. I understand, it's a massive catch-22 thing.
Here's the thing, the reason that I'm not fine is because I have my family ripped apart. I was the victim of bullying throughout school, and then I was the victim of bullying by professionals. I didn't do anything wrong. My biggest criminal thing that I apparently did was move to go and live with a partner in a different part of the country and take my child with me. And apparently I'm not a fit parent.
It's not for them to judge you. We talk about years and years ago, Jane. We're not talking about the Jane now.
No.
I would say that you're perfectly
the Jane now is bit.
I'd say that you're perfectly capable of looking after children, let alone your own. Even if it's just for a few hours a day, let alone whatever. I think it was hard done by a harsh draconian system that is 20 years out of date, and that people are still suffering to this day. It's easy for them to get an expert and say, oh look, she's not able to do this. Well, if you weren't capable of looking after your kids, then why aren't you getting pipped at the moment? Think about it. If you weren't capable of doing all these things that they say that you're not capable of doing, I think it's hard to prove when you've got historical evidence against you. And I think a lot of these mental health workers have got it in for you Like they had it in with me, and you build quite a reputation up. Like at East Dean, I'm glad they've closed East Dean now, but a few of those nasty people have disbanded, but they're still there in the system, writing things about you that you don't agree with. I mean, every time I used to phone up East Dean, they write it all down. Richie Vallance is writing in car parking spaces again. Oh, they love me, Jane. And it wasn't until the cloud thing that they really did take me seriously. I had them there and they were saying things like, oh, you need a proper full psychiatric evaluation now. Well, why didn't you give me one before?
I didn't actually get anyone to believe that I had mental health issues until I had children.
Oh, and then they suddenly become concerned because you've got kids.
They suddenly realised that yes, I do actually have mental health issues, and I've had...
No, but they suddenly realise that your kids are the target. An easy bait, and that's what it's all about, Jane.
The fact that I had been fighting since I was 14 years old and first started getting ill, and I was telling the authorities something was wrong. As soon as I got to 20 years old and I had my eldest child, suddenly everyone started paying attention. Oh, she does have depression, she does have anxiety, she might have postnatal depression, she might have this.
It's exactly the same with me. I know exactly what you're talking about.
But
we're talking about historical things now.
Yeah.
What we want to talk about is the here and now. You're not able to get picked because you've got nothing up to date that's substantial enough to give you credibility in order to claim. Plus, you're probably not that good at filling forms out.
You
probably don't make a good witness either. They probably got you on the spot at that interview, and you probably made a balls of it as well.
The worst thing for me is to ask me to fill in a form because I have no idea. I hate forms because they ask the same kinds of questions in so many different ways, and it's like, I've answered that, but do I need to answer it again? And it just panics me. So
you have a need, like me, to become involved in your community. That is a social need. Yeah. That in itself is enough criterion to get a personal budget. Second of all, you have a socialistic need to be a part of the community, which is enough to get PIP. You should be getting PIP, and I think you should fight for it. And I think you shouldn't give up until you get it.
Oh, I'm going to go for it again, and I'm not going to give up this time. I'm getting
no matter how bad it makes you feel.
I've got my fight.
Let them see how bad it makes you feel. Prove to them. You can't go down this road. You've got to be realistic, Jane. Yeah. You know, as much as good as your intentions are, and believe me, it's a wonderful thing that you're trying to do. Everybody's taking the piss out of you. What, because you got no money, because you can't afford to live? That's not fair, Jane. You're putting yourself on a pedestal for the haters to hate. And there's no need for that. At the end of the day, you're a nice person. And I've got a few odd jobs you can do. If you want to do a few odd jobs for me. You know, I need a bit of help with doing a few things. I don't mind giving you a few quid to help. I really don't. But don't put yourself out there, Jane. If I were you, I'd keep the Grow From Me page just to see how it goes. But don't allow yourself to be open up to hate. You've got to put in for PIP. Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere. If you try getting a job, or if you try getting funds any other way, I mean, you're selling your own flipping furniture, for God's sake.
I know. Oh yeah, people don't realise that.
They don't care. They do realise. They think it's funny, Jane. They're laughing at you.
I know.
They are laughing at you selling the last fucking shirt on your back, and it's wrong. It's wrong when we're living in a world of you know, excess and greed, where so much food gets wasted, and it's so hard just to get a food stamp. You know, I had a friend a couple of months ago. The benefits got stopped for 3 weeks, and they were in shit street. All of a sudden, they were left with, they didn't know what to do. So they went to the council. They panicked. They even went to Ardash, begging Ardash. Ardash didn't have a clue. You know what Ardash said? The crisis team said to them. They turned around and says, "Oh, we don't know of any organisations that might be able to help. But if you go to the local M25, they might give you a few tins of beans." You know what I mean? Oh, that's really going to keep you going for a week or for the long-term future while you don't see why your benefits going to get paid. And that same person, they rang up the council turned around and said to them, "Oh, you've got to come in with your bank statements, but we'll accept it on your phone if it shows on your phone, if you've got online banking." By the time they got to the council, they wouldn't have had enough time to get to the food bank. And that was on a Friday.
You live in a constant state of fear when you're on certain benefits like universal
Where's your next meal coming
credit.
from?
Because you don't know if you have to meet this criteria, that criteria, and if you don't,
what do you get right now? What benefits do you get right now?
Universal credit.
For God's sake, and how much is that?
Currently, I get £132.03 every 15 to 17 days.
So at least every fortnight, you're expected to live on what? 62 quid?
Something like that.
£65?
And then, there's a requirement that you need to be able to be online, and because I have social anxiety issues,
but you don't get any enhanced rate for disability
as far as I know, no. All I'm getting is that money, and one of my issues, like I said, is social anxiety, so I can't go down to a local community library and sit and do my job search in there because it affects me.
So in order to be eligible, you've got to do job searching?
Yeah, you have to do so many hours of
but
job searching.
There is a compassionate pay where you can say to them that you feel suicidal, and they can't make you do that, Jane.
They don't tell you these things. Nobody tells you.
You need to go to them and tell them that you're suicidal right now, and that being on universal credit is making you feel suicidal, which it is, and it's forcing you to do things that you wouldn't always normally do, like set up GoFundMe pages, like being forced to set up bloody Body Shop. Nobody buys Body Shop these days, you know what I mean?
The shop in town is even shut down.
Well, we know that.
That's how little people buy it.
Doing all shopping online.
Yeah.
I mean, I occasionally buy Sam
not
white
from
musk.
Me, they're not.
Because when I first met Sam, she used to wear white musk. So it's the memories, the nostalgia of it. Yeah. But I would normally go in. It doesn't bother me about non-testing on animals. All the rest of them do. You know, yeah, it's terrible what they do, but you turn a blind eye to all that, don't you?
It's personal choices to whether or not somebody.
Right then, Jane, there's a microphone.
Thank you.
Right, well, hello everybody, welcome to Jane's channel. She's asked me to interview her today. About a couple of touchy subjects, but particularly about what's been going on recently in her life. I'd just like to say at this point that I'd like to vouch for Jane, and I'm fully supporting what she's doing. And I feel like it's important that we get the truth across. So this is asking the questions. There'll be no whole bars. There'll be no pulling back. But we do like to keep things positive on these channels. And we do know that Jane suffered a little bit of backlash because of this. Now, Jane's decided to set up a GoFundMe page, which I found a bit cheeky and controversial looking into it.
Crowdfunder.
Sorry?
Crowdfunder.
Crowdfunder, GoFundMe page, same thing. And basically, it's asking the public for donations. I don't believe them to be donations. I think because Jane's offering a service, i.e., you're offering to, look after people's kids. You're offering to car wash. You're offering to help clean people's houses. You're offering a lot of services on you in lieu for a small donation, a very modest donation, may I add. She's not asking for lots and lots of money. It's not like she's trying to get a full-time job or a full-time wage on it. And I support anybody who wants to better their life. So can you just tell me about what gave you the idea of setting up this crowdfunding page in the first place? Can we just bring it around here as well?
Yeah.
There we go. Right.
Right. I have always wanted to help people, and as somebody who has a various amount of issues, such as I have depression and anxiety through bullying, and I've felt socially isolated due to this, what I would like to do is be able to put back into my community. Unfortunately, to a certain degree, that requires some financial aid because my situation is such that I don't have the means to get around without financial aid and stuff. So I would like to put back into a community that has supported me when I've needed it, when I've been socially isolated, by helping people that are less able to do things. Say, for example, if somebody suffers from agoraphobia and they can't physically go out, or they have physical disability, because I am more physically fit and able to do so, I could go and collect their shopping for them. And that helps me to get out, and it also helps the person who needs the help from somebody, because it is all about community. It's all about putting back into the world what you get out of it. You put in what you get things out and you put back in, and that's all I want to do. And I understand there was some confusion in the wording of how I put it on my crowdfunder. I've since gone back through it to make it more clear.
Can I just interject there because you're saying quite a lot of things at the same time. So what's happening is just get a tap. It's just a screen clicker. Get a tap. There you go. It's all right. You know, it's just a monitor. It's pushing tears around by a cable.
Okay.
Just give it a tap. It won't be flashing on the video itself. But if it's making you on top like you do a telly, I'll do. Right.
Okay.
So let's put the record straight. A lot of people get the idea that you're asking for money, and it seems a bit not cheeky, but to somebody who doesn't understand what you're trying to do, in layman's terms, one would say, why are you asking for money if you're on about going into the community and helping people? But what they don't understand is you're offering your services. So it's not like you're saying, I need to raise 650 quid to improve my life, which will enable me then to improve the community with this £650 or whatever target, which, man, is a very, very modest target. A lot of people, they ask for thousands of pounds. I mean, you know, you get one gas service user that gives a woman who's stranded petrol, he ends up with 36,000 quid in his bank account. And to him, that's like 5 years' wages. So, you know, a lot of the time when people are being modest about things, I think you're being quite honest, and I think what you're actually trying to say is you want to target individuals that are in the community out there that have got things that perhaps they're letting on the side burner and for whatever reason haven't got round to doing it, and you want people who are like-minded, who are just like yourself, because let's face it, Jane, you have them days where you don't want to tidy up and you feel debilitated. So what you're saying is you want them to motivate you in order for you to motivate yourself.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm trying to do. It's not necessarily just people that are unable to go out. For example, if you're a working person and you don't have time to do those activities that require doing, I can come in for a donation. I could help tidy up your home. I could babysit if you would like to go out. Maybe you haven't been out in months and you'd like to go out somewhere for a couple of hours. I'm not saying I'm willing to stay overnight in someone's home, because I don't think that'd be appropriate and acceptable anyway. But to give someone, no, I'm not a registered child
myself. Still legally entitled to babysit.
But I can babysit for somebody for like a couple of hours so they can go out and enjoy themselves if they want to go for a meal or something like that. It's all about putting back in, and that's all I've ever wanted to do.
I know what you're doing. I know what you're trying to do. It's one, you've explained it to me, and two, it's quite self-explanatory. But there's a lot of people out there that are either against you or are either too thick to understand or just think it's funny. What would you say to those people now who are saying right now, Jane's at it again, She's failed. She's failing again. She's failed in the past. She's failed.